And it happened. Well, it had to happen. And what has to happen will happen no matter how hard you try to stop it from happening. This is not my theory. This is Murphy's Law. Joe Biden, the 46th president of the United States of America, has created history by getting humiliated brutally on the global stage. His opponent, the wily politician Putin, outclassed him, outfoxed him, and completely outshone him. While Biden came across as a cranky and disheveled old man, Putin was calm, composed, and calculating. Hi and welcome. This is TFI Global, the foreign affairs and geopolitical analysis arm of the TFI Media Group, and I'm your host Atul Mishra. In this video, I will tell you about the big Putin-Biden clash and how Putin crushed his American counterpart like an elephant crushes grass. Do not underestimate Joe's ability to fuck things up. And you know who really doesn't have it? Joe Biden. These words of former US President Barack Obama ring true to this very day. Indeed, Joe Biden seems to have the unparalleled ability to give rise to a devastating storm where there is none. The same was on full display at Geneva on Wednesday during and after his meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin, where the American side, under the pusillanimous leadership of Joe Biden, yielded much ground to the Russians. Joe Biden looked defensive during the meeting with Putin. On the other hand, the Russian president owned the space he was in. First, we will talk about Vladimir Putin and his swagger throughout the summit. In Alaska, Chinese Communist Party officials had lambasted and thrashed Biden's officials like Secretary of State Antony Blinken and National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan. In Geneva, however, the US president made it a point to make a complete joke of himself while simply submitting before Vladimir Putin as he went on to dominate the summit. Even from the pictures which were released from the meeting room, Putin was seen confidently dominating the vibe while Antony Blinken sat in a submissive and unsure manner, projecting himself to be intimidated. Joe Biden, on his part, was seen with his legs crossed, a sign of him being on the defensive. Joe Biden and Vladimir Putin did not address a joint press conference together because Biden refused to. They both spoke to the media contingents separately. Here too, Putin made it a point to project himself as a clear winner of the summit. He attacked the Biden administration left, right, and center and hit Democrats where it hurts them the most. Putin said that he did not want to see something like the Black Lives Matter movement happen in Russia, and also criticized the arrest of many of those who protested at the US Capitol on January 6th. Mounting an attack on the Black Lives Matter violent campaign, Putin said, "What we saw was disorder, disruption, violations of the law, etc. We feel sympathy for the United States of America, but we don't want that to happen on our territory, and we'll do our utmost in order to not allow it to happen." Vladimir Putin also called out the liberal tendency of terming just about any political opponent as a domestic terrorist. While questioning the mass arrests in Washington, D.C. following the violence on January 6, Putin said people came to the US Congress with political demands. 400 people, over 400 people had criminal charges placed on them. They are being called domestic terrorists. They are being accused of other crimes. The Russian president also hit out at the US on human rights violations, alleging that America built secret Central Intelligence Agency or the CIA prisons across the globe to torture people. Putin said, "Would anyone agree this is how you protect human rights?" The 1-hour press conference of Vladimir Putin was much more sophisticated, pointed, specific, precise than his American counterpart's chat with the media after the summit. Putin did not throw any tantrums, was mature and direct with his answers, and most importantly, lambasted the Biden administration for its moral grandstanding. Now let's come to Joe Biden and his underwhelming performance on Wednesday. What exactly transpired during the one-on-one meeting between Biden and Putin has not become clear yet. However, if the press conferences of the two leaders after the meeting are anything to go by, it would be safe to assume that Joe Biden has embarrassed his country internationally once again. While Putin maintained his composure and answered questions specifically and in a mature manner, Biden was seen throwing around tantrums and wagging his fingers before journalists asking very simple questions of him. Joe Biden began taking questions with a remark he was not supposed to make, and which once again ended up embarrassing his entire administration. At the outset of his press conference in Geneva, Biden said, "I'll take your questions." And as usual, folks, they gave me a list of the people I'm going to call on. Who are they? Is it Biden's communication team? Is it the military industrial complex of America? Is it some shadow government which seems to be controlling Biden like a puppet? Who they are, and they always land Biden in a lot of trouble. CNN's Kathleen Collins shouted a question to Biden asking why he was confident that Russian President Vladimir Putin would alter his provocative behavior following their high-profile meeting on Wednesday. Biden was outraged. How dare a journalist working for an organization which has its allegiances to Democrats ask such a terrifying question? So Biden slipped into a meltdown. The 46th president said, "I'm not confident. Where the hell? What do you do all the time? When did I say I was confident? What I said was, let's get it straight. I said what will change their behavior is if the rest of the world reacts to them and it diminishes their standing in the world." In the past, Biden has quoted controversies by labeling Putin as a killer and claiming to have told the Russian president he did not believe he had a soul. On Wednesday, he did not descend to such diplomatic lows, which is why he repeatedly made a clown of himself. CNN's Caitlin Collins was also told by Biden that she was in the wrong business if she could not understand the importance of his meeting with Putin. Reportedly, in a brazen display of his ineptitude to lead the world's most powerful nation, Biden handed Putin over with a list of critical infrastructures that should be off limits from cyber attacks. Effectively, Biden's message to Putin was clear. Here is a list of sites Russian hackers cannot attack, and whatever is not on this list can definitely be attacked. Meanwhile, during the press conference, Biden seemed to agree with a significant nod to a question probing him whether he trusted Vladimir Putin or not. This set off a massive storm, and the White House was forced to say that the nod was just acknowledgement of the media generally and not an agreement to what was being said. Not many are convinced with this flimsy explanation, though. American journalists were reportedly manhandled by Russian security agents. However, Joe Biden and Putin both smiled at the cuteness of the fourth pillar of democracy being shoved around like dolls. All in all, Biden's meeting with Putin was a failure. While Putin had a field day attacking the Biden administration, silly old Joe was too occupied throwing tantrums and trying to get over the fact that he failed to achieve any major breakthrough with the Russian side.